this particular case study, we're going to investigate how we were able to successfully consolidate several different data sources for enterprise analytics. And the main goal of this was to look at a manufacturing company that has a very mature process. It's been around for, I think, the better part of 70 years. And what we did was we took their existing quality process and we automated it, and were able to see some very, very real, tangible results to help them with their quality issues. We were asked to come into a glass fiber manufacturing company. We were introduced to them in the spring of 2019. They have multiple plants currently in the United States, and they're part of a much larger multinational and they were recently acquired. The plants themselves were built in the mid-1900s and are essentially a giant open furnace. And they mix raw materials and allow it to flow from large batch silos through melters and finally into what they call a bushing that creates glass fiber strands. They are a medium-sized organization in the United States with several hundred employees. They were interested in reducing the reaction time to quality issues in the plant and decided to utilize Columbus to implement a solution using Azure technologies and advanced analytics. Their longer-term goal was to introduce machine learning in order to try to predict breaks. So let's take a step on the digital transformation path here to understand how we worked with this client to get them into this pilot project. When the client approached us, they really wanted to understand how we would approach automating their processes. They had been doing things for a number of years. They have a lot of very, very highly skilled engineers in the plants that run their processes and know their processes better than we could probably ever learn them through our engagement time with them. The key here is this digital transformation concept. And every industry is undergoing some type of a fundamental transformation. So Microsoft has created this framework called the digital feedback loop to highlight how digital transformation is enabled. At the center of all of this is data. Data is coming out of everything. Every single product at this point is being wired up with telemetry and the ability to collect data. The digital transformation loop concept across your core business process is ultimately what enables this transformation. It allows you to change your business, to change your processes, and ultimately transform your industry. When it comes to analytic tools and solutions, it's important to know what's out there and to leverage those solutions. As such, we'd like to introduce you to this Microsoft Power Platform. If you don't already have it, it's a system that enables users to do 3 key actions on data that help them to drive the business. The first thing is to analyze this data. You can make sense of your data through interactive real-time dashboards and unlock the insights needed to drive your business forward. The second thing is to act. We can build apps in hours, not months, that easily connect data and use Excel-like expressions to add logic and run on the web, iOS, and Android devices. Third is to automate your processing. You can include powerful workflow automation directly into your apps with a no-code approach that connects to hundreds of popular apps and devices. The goals of the data journey are to analyze the current state, determine a data strategy that will get them there efficiently, and to build a customer value proposition in the form of actual roadmaps and deliverables that are very attainable, and to get those quick wins so that we continue to see that value. The data journey itself, this is the model. And to read this model, you start at the bottom left-hand corner and you work yourself up to the top right. Along the way, there are several stops. Those circles represent different areas along the data journey that we can categorize customers into. Standard reports, ad hoc reports, etc., all the way up through into predictive analytics and optimization. And if you look at how it's actually structured, if you look at the vertical axis as well, you see that anything in the light blue is something that we call traditional business insights, such as reporting and dashboards. Once you get above that horizontal dashed line, you start getting into something more like advanced analytics and data science. Those are the statistical analysis, forecasting, predictive analytics, and optimizations. You have some questions there, and those questions are designed to be conversation starters. And you can get very, very deep very quickly. But most of the clients that we start with are usually in the ad hoc reporting, query and drill down or alert stage, and they would like to get up into forecasting, predictive analytics, and so forth. Our services that we provide there on that vertical stack encompass a number of different offerings and any number of technologies in Azure and on-prem. Most of what we do is in the Microsoft space, but we also pull in a lot of open source tools such as R and Spark. We also leverage Python as well. But a lot of the tools that are our go-to type of tools are Data Factory, Databricks, Data Lake, and recently we've been working a lot with Synapse. And you can see here our services themselves have been grouped into 6 major groupings, starting at the bottom, data management, going through business value consulting, advanced analytics, corporate performance management, industry-specific analytics, and analysis and reporting. This particular case study actually has at least 3, maybe as many as 5 of those particular disciplines as part of this project. The roadmap that we built is utilized to visualize the data journey. It can be structured to provide milestones in order to gauge progress, but more importantly, it is utilized to help the client drive digital change in the organization by providing visibility to key points during the data journey and providing a time horizon to achieve them. It is similar to a project Gantt chart at a high level, but also allows for future phases to be added and removed as business priorities change. For this client, it was determined that they were in the L1, L2 region of their data journey. Their initial desire was to attain L3, L4. In order to achieve that, we recommended several activities. This roadmap is a sample of what we provided to them. The recommended activities were to implement an ODS framework, an operational data store framework, to utilize best practices by the Microsoft Advanced Analytics architecture, implement and utilize an Azure Data Lake, ingest tables required for analysis, create the appropriate schema to support analytics, and finally to create a Power BI workspace to showcase key reporting metrics that the client required in order to minimize quality issues. So here's the real end goal of this, which was to reduce the quality control response time from 6 to 8 weeks to about 2 days. And I think 2 days is actually a little bit high. They get their data updated every day, so they're able to see today what was going on yesterday. And actually, we've architected this in a way that we can get the data faster, but the way that they consume the data, they actually look at data from a weekly perspective. So they look at Tuesday to Tuesday, Wednesday to Wednesday type of data. So they're not looking at real-time data. It's a lot of comparatives.
If there are no additional questions, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's presentation. If you have any questions that do come up from today, or if you would be interested in scheduling a call to look at an upgrade or implementation project, or to take a closer look at more advanced development capabilities in the solutions you saw today, you can reach out to us. Send a quick email to us-marketing@columbusglobal.com.